So here we are. So welcome everyone, welcome to another blue post by Blizzard. It seems we've been getting them rather often, and I'm actually enjoying it. And without a further ado, let's read it. So the title is Spell Batching in Classic. For those who don't know what that means, you're gonna find out in the blue post. And welcome everyone. I hope you're well. Let's read. It was posted by Calvax, the community manager, who posted also the first two blue posts this month. And let's begin. Since we first announced World of Warcraft Classic, we've seen questions about spell batching. While we never really eliminated spell batching in WoW, we did change how and how often we process batches of actions coming from players. So you are less likely to notice that processing in today's game. We've been working to ensure that in WoW Classic, the gameplay of activating spells and effects will not differ from the experience of playing original WoW. Wow. Like the first paragraph right there answered my first question I had. Will it be different? Thank you. No, it won't. Good. Let's move on. It was relatively common in the original game to see a warrior pummel a mage who simultaneously and successfully polymorphed the warrior, story of my life. The mage suffered pummel damage but no spell school lock, because the mage didn't get interrupted. This could seem paradoxical, but it could happen because the pummel and polymorph were both in the same batch, and were both valid actions at the start of the batch. For the most part, things like that don't happen in modern WoW, but they still can. We've made improvements to batch frequency, and the game is much more responsive than it used to be. Still, if you manage to get both a pummel and a polymorph into a tiny processing window in modern WoW, you'll experience the same behavior as in original WoW. So, they're pretty much telling us, I'm gonna do it with more analysis, but they're pretty much telling us that they just reduce the frequency of it. And we did test it on the demo, actually, I remember with anxiety. As with many other areas of WoW Classic, authenticity is our primary concern. It used to be the norm that combat flow and PvP balance were defined and tuned in a game where spell messages were resolved less frequently. There was a single game loop that processed all messages sent and received every server tick. Nowadays, the game processes multiple loops for messages of differing priorities. Spellcasts are high priority and have been for a long time. For WoW Classic, we are moving spellcasts to a low priority loop that will cause them to be processed at the frequency that best fits how the game actually played in version 1.12. Two mages will be able to polymorph each other somewhat reliably, resulting in two sheep nervously pacing around at range. Two warriors will be able to charge one another, and the end result will be both warriors stand in each other's original location. We think it will be fun to see those sorts of things happening again. Totally fucking agree, and this is a fucking post. Amazing post. So, let's break it down a bit. Batching, as the post explains, is when things happen in the same batch, or another word for it, simultaneous. Now, Blizzard is telling us that due to advanced hardware and new coding, the expansions have kind of improved on that. And it was less likely, as there were the batches were separated, like the frequency didn't have to be, it was less likely to happen, right? As they put it here, just to use their words, how the message was processed, it wasn't like they were resolved, the frequency was slower, so that means it was a higher chance of something like a pummel and a polymorph, or two polymorphs, to happen simultaneously. Now, this thing we did we did test it at the demo. How we test that with a friend of mine, Anxiety, we're both warriors, and we're trying to see if we can stand each other by switching sides. And it was very hard. I think we've managed to once. So I think that's what they're referring to. It was really hard to get it to happen at the demo. Usually one of us will get charged, either him or I. So at the demo where we're placing the everyone was talking about the responsiveness about the WoW Classic demo. And I think that's part of it, because they were having the latest engine when it came to that. But now they said that we're not going to do that. We're going to go to the responsiveness and and give us the experience, which they call it fun, and it is fun. And frustrating at the same time when you polymorph a magic, but you still get shipped. To bring it back to classic WoW, that's huge news. And as I realize, and as there points out, although they know that they were improving the game by increasing the frequency of the servers and making this happening less times, they still revert to something that they were going away from. You see, they were moving away from this batching that was happening rather often early on, right? They evolved, and now we're going backwards. And I wouldn't call it as it's not a regression. I think it's something that can be frustrating, as I said, and fun at the same time. What I like about PvP in vanilla is the RNG, right? It's sometimes you're just a better player and just nothing works for you, right? So the fact that they're exactly prioritizing gameplay over performance, because vanilla is not about ranking. It's not about being a gladiator or being a high rated. It's not there, right? The losing a duel, sure, it hurts your ego, but it's not as significant. People won't complain about it as much as it being in arenas, right? So I think the gameplay, in terms of the gameplay, will be enhanced. It will be more fun, and it will cause you a bit of an emotional stir, I would say, positive or negative. And sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just I'm trying to talk about the post here. So yeah, they were very direct with this post. They did emphasize that they want authenticity. And part of the authenticity is not just having the correct stats or the right distribution of content and all of that. How you press your buttons and how it responds is part of the authenticity. And I can understand how people who were playing retail for a long time, how it will affect them, right? Coming back to a slower response or batching happening rather. It actually happens very often. Like I would say, for me, 1 every 3-4 duels it happens. As a priest, I don't know how many times I landed a silence on a mage, but then I ended up being a sheep. And at the same time, I just wasted a 40-second cooldown, 45-second cooldown, and the mage just waits it out and just re-sheeps me afterwards, and I'm fucked. So you have to be faster, you have to be more careful when to use your, within this example I've given, when to use your silence. Because if you use it at the edge, you're risking wasting your effect. And so using your global cooldown, your global abilities who are affected by global cooldown becomes even more important in vanilla. We don't have haste. I don't know if retail still has haste. We don't have haste. Our global cooldowns are 1.5 seconds. So if you fail, if you do it at the right edge where the other person has it as well, you're risking a patch. Both of you. but your cooldown must be more important than theirs, like my silence versus the mage's polymorph, and so many other examples, right? Latency does play its role as well, but we're talking about the situation when it actually happens. If you guys have any question or input, I'll be addressing myself to the stream. Feel free to provide it. Can also bring out the chat here so people can read it and see what people are asking. And Cold Sins, hello. Yeah, of course I will be going rank 14. You asked earlier. I mean, I did 2 rank 14s already back to back. I think going for more will only be reasonable. And that's their answer to you, Classic. We're expecting it to be free, just have an active WoW subscription. Oh, an example as Zaber put, like casting Leon Hands, getting the cooldown, but your target never got a heal. Yeah, that's part of the... Also the server delay. Latency, as I said, does play its role. But most importantly is, yeah, you can... Many times I shield someone, they die, but I have my Power Word shield cooldown as a priest. It's pretty annoying. And you know, my god, you know, it's just, you know, things happening simultaneously. And so they're reducing the priority of a spell for this to occur. And it's actually, I have to admit, although we were testing it on the demo and many people were asking for spell batching to be tested on the demo, they addressed it. And that's very important to me. And thank you, Blizzard, for addressing this. Although I still have issues about the loot trading. But regardless. You can watch it on my other video about loot trading. I'm uploading them also now on YouTube. And with my Twitter, I will be posting them. But with loot trading, we have huge troubles, Blizzard. 2 hours, really? 2 hours? Do you need 2 hours to trade someone the wrong loot? 2 hours? What is this? 2 hours you clear 3 content. You clear MC Black Wiggler in an hour, and you need an hour to clear AQ40? And you still can trade items? That makes no sense. Okay, I got that out. I got that out of the way. I had to. I'm sorry. I know this is not about it, but I'm trying to put this loot trading issue on every other topic I'm reading. So, any questions, any input in regard to what we just read, everyone? I'll be happy to follow up. But it's good news. That means the feeling of the game will retain itself. Because when I was playing the demo, I kept saying, my god, this is so responsive. This is so responsive. I don't play retail, so for me, the responsiveness was amazing. Good and bad at the same time. You like the delays in vanilla. The frustration, the hitting the desk when the damn silence lands and you get chipped. I don't know. What do you mean by that, their charge? If they change our mind, is they will break change for authenticity. I'm not sure what... I'm not sure what pathing. Oh, I see what you mean. The charge. I hope they keep it the same there, to be honest. I hope they keep it the same. And let me read. Akabax is talking about macros. Alright. They did say, though, about macros, the general API, it will be something between vanilla and retail. It won't be vanilla because you have all these scripts. Basically, you can just press one button and play a whole character. That's how advanced or potential the scripts and the macros have in vanilla. But then again, on retail, they are different. So they did say during BlizzCon they want to do something in between, like probably eliminate some of the autoplay of the vanilla macros. You know, there are some commands that are crazy. If this, if that, then do that. It's crazy. You have this amount of rage or whatever, like tanking. There is a macro to tank with one button. It's not the best, but it's not the best to tank with that macro, of course. But I'm saying it's viable. It actually is. And then you cannot have the retail one, the that engine for making add-ons and macros, because I think macros and add-ons will kind of be together. It's in the same sphere. So yeah, we are still waiting on that and Akapax. I will say that it will come one of the latest, right? At the moment, as far as I see, they are still deciding about the content, the gameplay. They're answering the community answers. Like many people were asking for specification about specifics on loot trading, specifics on Ultraq Valley, and Blizzard was kind enough and willing to respond to those things. I think that's what they're doing, right? They are addressing the community concerns one by one. And the vast community are not developers for add-ons and macros. They're not thinking of that. So at the moment, they're addressing issues directly to the community's concerns. And what I really want to see is about PvP, how PvP will look like, and itematization. I keep saying that. Itematization will be huge. How you do it, because yes, content is important, and they already hint at the itematization, the loot drops, how they're not gonna have the mobs won't be having the same drop chances, and what they drop like 1.12. That has to change, of course. But then the question comes out, and I always like to give this example, things like Bone River's Edge. It's a weapon that's very early in game, since 1.2 I believe. And it gets updated up to 1.9, up to 1.10. You see, it gets it goes through 2-3 stages of updates and modifications. So which one will we get? Will the 1.2 get the latest? Will the 1.2 get the earliest and progress? You see, just a single item can have many questions. Same with T2 gear. When T2 first came out, it didn't look exactly as it did at later patches. So, and some other things. For example, the AQ20 gear. It's blue, some pieces, and they become epic with 1.10. Which ones will we get? And yes, it does matter. So Blizzard has a huge decision to make. And if we take their word for it, and I do take their word for it, that they don't have the early patches, right? They don't have data from the very early patches. They only have a 1.12 and close to a 1.12 now. What close means, I'm not sure. Somewhere 1.10, 1.9, I would say that's what it means. So BRE will be having the later changes. If it's in game, maybe they decide not to, which again, problem not to have BRE. It's a very iconic weapon. Right. And one of the reasons that, to go back to PvP, one of the reasons they can't put PvP gear very early on is because, again, PvP gear gets upgraded at Blackwing Lair patch 1.6. So they probably don't have the early stats. And of course, they're not going to rely on third parties or classic databases to get those stats like some private servers do. Because if a private server gets a stat wrong, sure, they should just change it, and if it's proven different. But imagine how embarrassing it would be Blizzard to get some stats wrong. Imagine someone posting a picture from 2005, 2004, 2005 saying, look at this, the stats were different. I don't know. They didn't mention it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They didn't mention anything about items. And it must be like a headache for Blizzard. How do they do the items? Even if they want to do progressive itemization, they don't have the data according to them. I'm just paraphrasing them. They don't have the data. They overrode things, one on top of the other. So when they changed, they upgraded the gear of PvP, it was overwritten from on the previous one. So they don't have that. How do they do it? It's because you did split the content, but if you get upgraded gear of late content in early content, again it will affect experience. Getting very strong gear very early on, because some items do get very strong as they go on, as they evolved, as they changed. I think that will be one of the latest posts. I think Blizzard tries to negotiate, and I don't have a good answer. I'm not one of those people who are going to start judging Blizzard or any other person or company when I don't have an answer to it. Of course, I don't have all the information that they do, so I can maybe be more accurate in my own input. But how do you do it? No, seriously, if you have any input, how do you do it? You don't have the database. Some weapons are very strong. You put them in game, you don't put them in game, you put them very strong. And PvP. How will PvP work? Another question for you guys. How will PvP work? Will we have an honor system early on? MBGs later, so honor system early on would be world PvP, but that might be a bit too hardcore for PvP servers. And on PvE servers, world PvP to rank would be terrible, if you think about it. Because the few who want to rank, if they want to rank on PvE server, and yes, I know, don't tell me, why you should rank. Let's put that for another topic. If you want to rank on a PvE server without BGs, it will be very hard. So, how do you do that? And I think that's why these two hot topics that I've brought up, they haven't addressed yet, but they're so important. And will define the game. Sure, you don't want the PvP items of 1.6p early in the game, but at the same time, if you only release the honor system at Blackwing Lair, it will cause a bottleneck. What usually happens is, on a new server, people want to rank. What happens, those people who got level 60 first, which there are not many, they slowly rank, and kind of there is a pyramid and of people ranking, right? The low levels, the 60 low ranks, it's kind of building a pyramid, and the people at the edge, those are at the far end, and they are very progressed, let's say, with the ranking. So you see how the flow works. But if you release the honor system at once, while most people are 60, like by Blackwing Lair, so many people will rush to rank, it will cause problems. It will be enabling, basically, account sharing. Way more than it would if you had the honor system early, just not the rewards. And if you noticed, Blizzard during BlizzCon did not mention anything about the honor system. What will it be implemented? As there's already drama about the honor system when it has like a slow kind of flow to it. Right? I get level 60 first because I play all day, or I play more hours than someone else, just as an example. I get to be rank 6 first. That person is a bit slow, he's rank 4. I'm ranked 8, he's 6, I'm 10, he's 9. You see? So I get the priority to get rank 14 first. But tell me how it's gonna work if 5,000 people, just a number, 5,000 people decide at once to rank. People will account share. It will be even more kind of welcome into account sharing, because the competition will be much, much higher. People will be going full out at it. And it won't allow for other things. Sure, the competition, as I said, will be high, but unfortunately, or unfortunately at the same time, as it is a different game, competition in vanilla, it is about being the best team. But the hours you put in matter. They matter a lot. So you can't just... you can't just, even if you're the best team, or 15 people doing AB, you can't just play 12 hours. Because in another team, maybe they're not as good, but they play 18 hours. They're going to get more honor than you. Most likely. Right. Of course, there are examples and exceptions. So yeah, that's the biggest two problems. Progressive automatization versus no progressive automatization, and some other things. Yeah, all these our viewers here are giving us some examples of various instances of rank 14 and ranking. It's a lot of hours. So I hope Blizzard does implement the honor system early, but how will they do it on PvE servers? It's a headache. Like, I'm actually trying to see their point of view, not just me demanding things. It would be too selfish. Me saying, oh yeah, put the honor system from the start on PvP servers and forget the rest of the PvE servers. I'll, fuck how the honor system looks there. That's wrong. That's wrong. No, PvE server is not for the weak. It's for people who don't have much time, I would say, and don't have the patience to be ganked. I completely understand that. And something of a note: do not let your friends bully you into playing a PvP server if you don't want to. No peer pressure. If you don't like PvP server, if you don't like the idea, fair enough, Quake. If you don't like the idea of a PvP server, or you had the experience of ganking, you don't like it, and corpse camping and whatnot, then just don't play on a PvP server, no matter what your friends said. And even if they try to put you down as a coward or using a bit more aggressive words, don't. You're gonna hate the game. Honestly, you're gonna hate, if you don't like PvP, you're gonna hate the game, and it's not something I recommend for you. Just play on a PvP server, and if someone asks you, starts insulting you or whatever, or start bashing at just Quake set, because you're on a PvE server, ask them that. Why? Just ask them why are they doing it. They just want to feel better, right? Because they're playing on a PvP server. But go watch them getting corpse cam, see how mad they get, and be like, that's why. Very few people can actually take a corpse camp or see how much ganking there is to it. So yeah, don't get bullied into playing on PvP servers. Excuse me. Don't get bullied on playing on PvP servers. It's a culture. I've realized it, of bullying when people play on PvE servers. Now, if you play on PvRP servers, now maybe I bully you. That's different. But PvPRP, if you're killing Alliance all the time, I'm with you. So, yeah, you guys have any... I see there is a lot of input and commentary here. No, it was a Reddit post about those 6 PP servers, or for each reason. It was a BS Reddit post, people getting attention. Yeah, PvP, for me doing PvP, it's fun. It can be frustrating. Even for me, I got killed a lot, corpse camped, I killed a lot as well. And sometimes gets frustrating, even though I've been doing it forever. So I can imagine someone who doesn't have all day on his computer or on their computer to sit and play. So if they have 2 hours to play a day and they get corpse camped for 1, or just someone not letting them farm, they won't enjoy the game, and when I say fuck the game, I'm not leveling to 60 again, and that's it. We don't want that. We want WoW to be successful. So, hello Evie. So, to recap. Amazing Blue Post talked about the spell patching, bringing back the feel, the gameplay, the original gameplay, which is really important. I would say it feels like a slower paced game because of that, which is good and bad. But in the way that it can backfire. Like the example we gave with me using my silence, but at the same time getting sheep, and the mage getting the me getting the wrong end of the stick, to put it mildly. That's one, and Blizzard is keeping to a very straight line. Parenthesis minus loot trading, close parenthesis. Yeah, we talked about loot trading. It shouldn't be 2 hours. Loot trading should be max of 10 minutes. Max. 5 minutes. It's my recommendation. Now, if someone goes to the toilet, he gets the item, and it takes more than 5 minutes, sure. Give it 10 minutes. 10 minutes for loot trading. It's more than enough. We talked about automatization. How are they going to do it? It's a headache. And about the honor system, how will it be, and when will it be implemented? Those are the things, the last two, automatization and PvP, the honor system, or when will it be implemented? Those will be the questions to be answered. But I'm patient, and we seem to have a flow of blue posts lately, and thank you to the viewers who are notifying me about it. So thank you for watching. I would love to see your comments in regard to this. We just were playing some other games when this came up, and thanks to Dr. Serot, who notified us for this post to talk about it. Yes, indeed, Gluten. To answer your question quickly, vanilla rank system was about killing people, getting honorable kills. Based on your honor, you will get a standing. Based on your standing, you will get a certain amount of ranking points. Based on that, you will rank. And then once you reach a certain rank, you will qualify for a certain item or items, and you have to buy them with gold. I can't think of a single item on the PvP reward system which is free. Some a bit more expensive, some cheaper. I think the most expensive thing is the mount, which is about 90 gold if you are not, or 100 gold without any of the discounts of the cities and the rank. I think that's the most expensive, and the cheapest is probably the PvP trinket with 5-minute cooldown, not 2. So yeah, we just read the blue post. We can keep talking about it. I just want to cut the video for YouTube. No, they don't reset. They have... I'm trying to remember the word. There is kind of a... Not a diminishing return. Every week you lose 20%. Forgot the word, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah, every week you lose 20% of your total ranking points. So they don't reset. You just lose the ranking points. So if you want to go forward, you have to do the 20% plus more. Oh, honor decay. Thank you, Kurt, again. Hello. Honor decay. Yes. Every week there is a 20% honor decay. Well, the higher you go, it gets terrible. Like if you are a rank 13, for example, and you get that's 55,000 RP, 20% of that, which is 11,000 RP, would be lost. And the maximum you can get is 13,000. That means your accumulation is a total of only 2,000 ranking points, which is like 40% progression from 13 to towards 14. So to go to from 13 to 14, you need minimum of 3 weeks. Maximum, never. So yeah, thank you for watching. As I said, leave your commentary down. We can keep talking about it just when I wrap the video up. The vote for YouTube, and looking forward to more blue posts. And you can also check my other videos on the blue post that I've posted. See you. Thank you for watching.